there's now a trailer for Justice League Gods and Monsters, which is Bruce Timm's return to that animated universe. He's doing a 3-part Machinima Chronicles thing that leads up to this, but he's also involved with the main movie, and that's coming out sometime later this year. Essentially, the idea is it's a Elseworld story where Wonder Woman is different, Superman is the son of Zod, and Batman is Kirk Langstrom that took his serum and became a vampire. And essentially, the Justice League are being framed, they're being attacked, and so they have to somehow kind of prove their innocence, even though they're all despicable people.
I love how your whole sum up for Wonder Woman in this universe is she's different.
Because I don't really know what the details are of her difference. She just looks different.
She looks like Lady Sif with a white costume on, to me.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
a different hair color.
Yeah. And I don't think we've heard her voice actress yet, but hopefully she's not as terrible as everybody else in that trailer.
Steve, is this a trailer for the movie or for the lead-up?
This is a trailer for the movie.
Okay, so first of all, I have a hard time imagining. I can't believe that Bruce Timm is involved with this because it doesn't look good. I mean, like, and what I mean is just visually, the animation doesn't look good. Or maybe I just don't really care for the character models, but I don't know. Just my first reaction is, it looks not even as good as what the most recent direct-to-video movies have looked, and I'm not in love with that animation style either. But more than that, the voice acting is atrocious all the way through, and this is just a trailer. Yeah, I can't. I'm baffled by it. Let me say this real quick. I like that we're doing an Elseworlds thing. I think it's really neat because we don't do enough of that kind of thing. I wish we would go to, we keep adapting things. And, I keep saying, let's do something original, but then I look at this and I'm like, well, okay, that doesn't look great. But like, could we please do, like, Gotham by Gaslight? Because, like, could we do some of the classic ones?
Yeah.
That would be wonderful, right? But looking at this, it's too reminiscent of other things that have done kind of, really, really similar sorts of things. Like, if we're going to do an Elseworlds thing, it needs to be really creative. Okay, Kurt Langstrom as Batman, I'll give you. That's kind of neat. And the idea of Superman being Zod's son, that's kind of neat. So, I mean, there are places to take that kind of thing. But I'm kind of reminded a lot of, like, Crisis on Two Earths. It looks kind of similar to that. I'm reminded of Injustice, Gods Among Us. Why can't we just adapt the comics from that? Because I've heard lots of good things about that. I don't know. I mean, like, I guess there could be some neat story elements, but just what I'm seeing here, it looks really thrown together.
Well, I mean, it looks like they've got the wrong mindset going in, right? Like, they're pitching this as a newer, darker Justice League, but darker relative to what? Have you seen Justice League War, or Return of Atlantis, or Batman vs. Robin? What's the point of going any darker? Did you not think you were dark to begin with?
Well, that's what was so weird when Injustice came out, right? Was that it was that was the whole idea of that. It was like, what if everybody went wrong in the Justice League? And I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, Superman doesn't kill people the way he kills people in that, and the way he takes over and all of that. But you're right. I mean, like, dark superheroes are kind of what the mainstream for DC has been lately. We'll see what it looks like after Convergence. I hope maybe they turn that around a little bit. But right now,
did anyone else think the voice acting was the worst? Like, literally?
Yes. Yeah. Totally.
The way that General Zod's son was delivering lines, particularly, and the reporter at the beginning, because they were the only two people that spoke in the trailer, weren't they?
I think so, yeah.
So, just everything we saw, it felt really stilted. It was clearly people reading off of a piece of paper with no attempt at acting and adding any sort of gravitas or emotion or any sort of anything to their voice when they were speaking. I don't know, that immediately took me out of it. I wasn't as opposed to, like, the character designs as you were, Cap. I thought that General Zod's son looked kind of cool. I don't know what's up with Wonder Woman, because we don't know anything about her. But
she's different.
Yeah, but I don't know, it looks like it could be sort of interesting. But I want to know where the other members of the Justice League are. Like, this isn't the Justice League, this is the Trinity, it seems to me.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
I'm hoping this is not as bad as we're making it out to be, though, because it's executive produced not only by Bruce Timm, but by Sam Register, who did Beware the Batman, which is arguably the best Batman show ever. So I don't want this to be a stain on his record. but it really seems like it's going to be, because we're talking about all the stuff that's different just to be the sake of difference, all the stuff that's overly dark, but you've got, like, really gratuitous violence and random blood and just weird foul lines for the sake of saying them.
And I mean, now remember, of course, that we're just looking at a trailer, and those things are there to sell a thing. So it's like, oh, look how adult we are. The problem is, so many of these direct-to-video things lately, and even under Bruce Timm's tenure, I had problems with this aspect a lot. It wasn't as bad as it has been lately, but this idea that somehow or rather we're validating it as mature because there's blood and people speak with foul language, and that makes it more adult. That actually makes it more juvenile. It does the opposite of what you're attempting to do. But you know, the 20 or 30 somethings, you know, so some people getting up into the 40s and 50s now, I guess are you know, buying these movies for that stuff, allegedly, except they're not. Look at the numbers. They're not. So, I don't know, just tell good stories, man. I mean, I know I'm a broken record with that, but, like, you know, forget about trying to make things dark and trying to make things look adult, and just tell a good story already. You know, it's like we're too, and I'm not accusing Bruce Timm of this. I just think overall with superheroes right now in general, especially with a lot of this animated stuff, it's like we're ashamed of the superhero thing. It's like when we make it because it sells and superheroes earn right now, but we can't own what it is. We've gotta try to justify it.
That makes me think that everyone involved with these movies should just sit down and watch Superman versus the Elite.
Yeah.
What happened to that mentality? These were the guys arguing exactly what you were saying for one movie, and then they forgot about it.
Because that movie earned its darkness, and it earned, and its violence was not gratuitous, and it earned it. I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but it worked. Like, that wasn't the problems I had with it, and there weren't very many. It was good, but you know, weren't that. It was a movie for adults, and of course, I always talk about it under the Red Hood. Really violent movie. It has to be. There's a point to be made there. That's not a movie for kids. They don't have to go out of their way to try to make it more violent. And lately what we've been getting are skeleton stories that could easily just be made as kids' movies, but the only thing that makes them adult is that now we're breaking legs and severing heads and stuff. And saying things I can't say on the channel or the radio show. You know? And again, when that's there for a reason, you know, okay, but it doesn't, I mean, maybe it will be, but if this ends up being a great movie, they made a crappy trailer for it. That's all I'm saying.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.